Here we are in the studio. We're going to do a model portfolio type shoot with Layla. Just notice how I give her instructions and how she works around those instructions. It's a collaboration between the two of us. I've spoken about this before in that previous lesson, and you've seen all that and you've learned all of it, I know. So I'm just going to go through the motions, show you what we're going to do. We're going to do a lot of clothing changes. We're going to do a lot of different lighting changes as well. Okay, Layla, like that? It's perfect. If your model looks good when she's standing there, just shoot it and then work around. Okay, that's fantastic. Just get you to turn your face towards that light a little bit. Yep, because we do want nice light on your face. Okay, here we go. Just check my exposure to start with. My histogram looks amazing. Layla looks pretty good too, but the histogram's really cool. Lovely. I'm just going to zoom in for a close-up. That's why I love working with zooms, because I can change my viewpoint just by sitting here on the stool. All right, so maybe feet apart a little bit more. Yeah, that's it, great. Turn that way a little bit with your face, yeah. All right, terrific. Yep, good. Okay, maybe some hands up near your hair or something like that, yeah. Cool, yep. We want to do a few different expressions tonight too, so we're going to mix them up a little bit. I know you love to smile, so we're going to get some good smiley shots, but a few serious ones too and a few in between. Okay? Okay, lovely. Good stuff. Maybe, yep, that's it. Okay, play around as if you're doing up the front of those overalls and just looking up at me. Yeah, terrific, yeah. Good, do a full length shot. Okay, maybe round to the back a little bit more and look at me back over your shoulder. Yeah, that's it. Good, yeah. Great. Shoulders away from me and turn your face as far as you can back this way. Yeah, good. Great. Okay, we might do some sitting on this stool, hey? Yeah, that's a good idea. There we go, you can place it wherever you want. That's my special IKEA stool. Every photographer's got one, I think. If they haven't got one, they need to get one. Okay, that's great. Nice to me, yeah. Maybe turn your body around to your left a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Good. The foot back up on the step. Yeah, lovely. And turn the face a little bit more around. Yeah, good. Stay there. I'm just going to move in close, yeah. Okay, I always check my focus as best I can. Good, yeah, big smiles, that's it. Yeah, good. Can you put both feet up on the step? Yep, that's it. Great. Yeah, love that. Maybe turn your knees to the side a little bit more, yeah. Good. So you'll see this is collaboration between the two of us. I'll give Layla a bit of an indication of what I'm looking for and then she'll just work around it. She'll just tweak it a little bit. Layla is reasonably experienced, so the model you're working with may not be as experienced, so you may need to give a few more instructions, just little things. But those nuances make all the difference. If she can just relax her body into it and just jiggle around a little bit so that it feels good, it's going to look good and that's going to come through in her eyes. If she's feeling comfortable in the pose and she knows she looks good, it's going to come through in her eyes and that shot's going to be so much better. Okay, yeah, like that grumpy look for me. Yep, good. Okay, here we have Layla in a grumpy mood. Yeah, good. The car's just broken down. It's raining. Yep, she's got to change the tyre. Okay, maybe two hands up. Yeah, yep. Yeah, lovely. Okay, good stuff. All right, now, what else can we do on the chair? Now, the lighting I've got set up here is going to work well for Layla standing as well as sitting. I don't want to have that softbox in a position where when she stands up, the light's coming up on her face. So I've got it up as a standing position, just a little bit above her face to give us nice slightly down light direction, but when she sits down on the chair, it's a soft box, so it's going to be throwing light in that big space, in that big pool of light, so she's still going to be fine if she's sitting down. Okay, good stuff. Just turn your face towards the light, yeah? Great, yeah. Good. Thumb in that pocket. Yeah, great. Good. Okay, maybe turn your shoulders around this way. Yep, that's it, yeah. Other foot will be okay, whatever you think. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I need to try and get that face around here so we get that nice light on your face, yeah? That's it, good. Lovely, yeah? Okay. All right. That'll be great. We might change, yeah. Please. Before we do, we might get some sitting down ones if you can. Okay. Down on the floor, yep. Now we're going to do some shots on the floor of Layla. I'm going to drop that softbox down a little bit just because I don't want that light to be coming too far down on her. I'll drop it down to about just above her eye level so that we get nice light in her eyes. Just stretch one foot out a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. Great. Might move it back a little bit. Keep it straight but out to the side a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Because I want to keep all parts of Layla equal distance from the light if I can. If her foot is closer to the light, it's going to be brighter. If her foot's closer to me, it could be out of focus. I'm shooting at about f8, but it could be a soft foot. We don't want soft foot, so we're just going to do it like this. That's great. Lovely, yeah? Maybe, can you get all your hair on one side? Yeah, good. And that locket, just keep it in the middle. Yeah. That's one thing I often forget to notice is necklaces and little bits like that. Lovely. Okay, great. Now you might spin around so that you're facing your feet down that way. Yeah, that's it, good. We've still got nice light in Layla's eyes in this position. That looks great. Maybe cuddle into your knees. Yeah, terrific. Big smiles now, yeah? Okay, terrific. Okay. All right, that'll do. We'll get changed into the next outfit. So Layla's brought along a few different outfits tonight. I haven't dictated to her what she brings. I've just given her a bit of an idea of what we're looking for. Some more formal outfits, some really casual outfits, some long dresses, short dresses, anything that she thinks will give us a bit of variety in these shots. Because when we're shooting a model portfolio, one of the most important things is to get that variety. We want to try and make these shots look like they weren't all taken at the one spot. So we're going to move around, we're going to do different backgrounds, different lighting, to give the impression that these shots were taken at different sessions, that you may have more experience with different photographers. So that's the key. And Layla's brought along some great stuff. Now you'll notice on this softbox I've got a grid on the front, an eggshell grid. That is there just to prevent too much spillage of light. It's to contain the spread of the light. Because I'm working in a small studio, I often don't want too much light on my background. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So with this grid, I can just feather my light, which I'm going to do in a minute, you'll see, so that that light doesn't go so much on the background, it will go onto Layla. And I can control where that light goes much more easily because I've got this grid on. With just the diffusion on the front, that light goes out 180 degrees and it lights up everything. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. So for these shots now, I'm going to feather this light. I'm going to move it across this way a little bit and turn it back towards me so that that's preventing so much light on the background, which is going to darken the background down, which I think will suit this style of outfit. Now you'll notice I'm shooting from a reasonable distance from Layla. That's because I want to use a slight telephoto when I'm shooting her. I want this perspective to look more attractive. If I was in too close, I would get a little bit of that wide angle distortion, which I don't particularly want for these sort of shots. Okay, wonderful. Maybe feet together for this one. Push that knee across, yeah, lovely. Grab hold of the bottom of that skirt, that looks really cute, yeah. And just turn that face that way a little bit. I've got to check this light because I've moved it around a little bit more. So it's a bit of a harder light. Yes, you can see that light is shading my background a little bit, so I've got a nice graduation across my background, and it's still lighting Layla nicely, except that we're losing a bit of light on her boots on the ground. So I'm just going to tilt that light down a little bit so that we get a better coverage over that whole image. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so keep that faced that way a little bit. Yeah, lovely. Here we go. Yeah, good stuff. Bit of an angle frame. One this way, yeah. Yeah, that's lovely. Maybe hands behind your back. Yep. Good, just moving in a bit closer. Great. Okay, do that little thing holding the skirt out again. Yep, it's good. Yeah. Push that knee across a little bit more if you can, yeah, that's it. Lovely, good. Now, asking Layla to push her knee across in front narrows that knee area. You've seen other videos on posing that I've done in the past, but narrowing that knee area, or that knee width, allows the shape in her hips and her waist to be more pronounced. So it just gives a curvier sort of a look. That's a very politically incorrect way of saying it, but I'm an old man. Forgive me. Okay, lovely. So what we're going to do is maybe standing on one foot, one out to the side, like we have, yep, and I want you to turn your face and look at the light. Yep, that's it. Move your face a little bit more. Yep, that's it. I just asked Layla to turn around and look at the light. And what she did, from my point of view, I mean, she didn't do it wrongly, but from my point of view, she turned her face and then turned her eyes, which made the whites of her eyes really prominent, which we don't particularly want. We want to try and get those pupils, those eyeballs in the middle of her eyes reasonably much. So we want her to turn her face, but not look so much away from me, to look a little bit closer to me on that softbox. Okay, so you heard that? Yeah, that's good. Okay, anytime you need to strain your eyes, it's a little bit too much, okay? All right, I'll keep an eye out for it. That's it, lovely. Yeah, good. Maybe just hold one side of the skirt up, yep, and the other one just with your hand on your thigh, yeah, that's it. Good. Yep, turn that face a little bit more, eyes to me. Terrific, just moving in for a closer one. Okay, that's great. Now, can we do a little bit of movement around? Maybe just wiggle around a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, lovely. Okay, good stuff. Yep, good. Shoulders back to me a little bit. Yeah, that's great. Okay, yep, turn your shoulders around here. That's it. Now, we're not going to get great light on your eyes that way. Yeah, that's it. Good. Yep. Okay. All right, terrific. Now, I did put a little bit of pressure on Layla then by asking her to dance around and do a few shots. I don't normally do that unless I know somebody's reasonably confident with it. But still, even for Layla, it was probably a little bit less comfortable than me describing things for her, because she doesn't really know what I want by me saying that. But the shots look great, so I'm fine with that. I just do it for a few seconds every now and again because it looks good. Right, terrific. Can you crouch down, the knees straight across that way? Yep. Yeah, that's it. Great. Okay, yeah. Just tilt that head a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Good. The back hand, your right hand, just play with your hair. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Good. Now, if you can you put one foot out in front as you're crouching? If you can. I know it's not easy in heels. Yeah, is that okay? All right, good. Now you notice Layla's posture is really good here. A lot of my clients, you would see, they might stump over because it's a little bit difficult to do. So their shoulders get a little bit rounded, but Layla's handling that perfectly. All right, we'll get changed again, please. Before we do, a couple on the floor, please. Now, I've asked Layla to sit down on the floor. When she does, because she's got a short dress on, I turn around and look the other way. Just be respectful for your models and your clients. It doesn't cost much, but it just helps them to feel more comfortable. Normally, I would ask Layla to point her toes for this sort of shot because it will make her legs look a little bit longer. Again, politically incorrect, but she does it anyway, so that's fine. Shooting dancers or entertainers, you often find that they will point their toes naturally. But if your client's not doing that, just suggest it because it's going to look much more cinematic. That's a word photographers use all the time. They've got no idea what it means, but it's just a good word. It sounds really cool. Okay, lovely. Yep, extend the other foot out a little bit. Yep, that's it. Great. Can you bring that a hand in a little bit closer to you? Yep. Okay, yeah. Okay, big smiles. Yeah. So we've changed the background now to a black background because I think it's going to suit the dress that Layla's going to come out in. I'm going to change my lighting as well. We're going a bit radical with this. We're going to simply use the cone on the front of the strobe. We've got a bit of a diffuser on the front here, which doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But this is going to give us a much harder light, which is going to be a little bit more difficult to work with. We have to be a bit more precise with how we have Layla positioned. But you'll see the results, and it looks a little bit more spectacular, a bit more different to shooting everything with the softbox. So just mount that on here. We still need to have this light up higher than Layla, and we're just going to position it over here so that we can aim that directly towards Layla. It's a good idea to stand in position where your model's going to be so you can see where that light's going to be working from. I can see that that's going to be a bit low. I'm going to lift it up a little bit and just turn it back towards me a little. Just going to do a couple of test shots first to see what we've got. Okay. All right. So you can see that first test shot I did. The light just isn't working at all. We've got a lot of light on the background, which takes away from the darkness of it. So I'm going to need to move this light around the side a little bit more so that we don't get quite so much light on the background, and it's going to be a little bit more interesting on Layla's gown and on her face. So that shot looks much better. It took a little bit of fiddling to get it in the position that I wanted to, and because I'm not using a softbox on that light, it's much brighter. So I need to drop my aperture down a little bit, going from f8 down to f10, maybe f11. Now because our light's right on the side there, we need to turn your face a little bit more around that way. Yeah, that's it, great. So we always need to be careful of that light on our model's face. That's the most important thing. We're going to make sure that that face is lit a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. Good. My left arm gets a lot of work because I'm constantly saying turn that way towards the light. Okay, that's looking good. Now, we do have a bit of a discrepancy between the light on Layla's face and the light on the lower part of her body, but I'm fine with that because I want her face to stand out that little bit more. I want her face to be a little bit brighter than the bottom half of her body, so I'm quite happy with that. That's it. Maybe bring that other hand out and hold those hands in front. Yeah, that's it. So just feeling elegant, feeling confident, okay? Keep that posture up nice and tall. Beautiful. Just those thoughts can add an extra centimetre to a model's height. Just saying those words, helping her to feel that confidence and that elegance. The posture just comes up that little bit more. Okay, that's lovely. Now we're going to move your knees across this way, so you're facing this way. Yep, you're turning that waist around. Yeah, fantastic. That's it. Because we still need to make sure that face is looking good. Maybe link those hands up in front here. Yep, that's it. Good. Just going to move in for a waist up shot. Good. Yeah, lovely. Just turn to look over towards the side there. Yeah. Now just turn your eyes back to me. Yeah. Great. Make sure the focus. Lovely. Okay, terrific. Now on the video, you may notice that the light on Layla's face looks a little bit odd. She's got a bright light on her nose and on her shoulders as well. That's just the fluorescent lights in the studio here. Our flash or any lighting that we use in the studio will overpower that by 5 or 6 or 10 times. So that's just not going to be noticed in the final image. We don't need to have a totally black environment to do these sort of shots. Apart from what you've been told by most photographers, you don't need a completely black environment because these lights are going to overpower any ambient light that we have in this room. Okay, lovely. Just turn that shoe out a little bit. Yeah, yeah, great. Good. Yep, turn that face a little bit more. Yeah, lovely. You're going to have a sore neck by the end of the day. Lovely. Now what we're going to do is do a bit of a walking shot. So we're going to start you over there and you're going to walk across this way, okay, because that's where our light is. And I just want a nice, slow, elegant walk and looking over to me, all right? Don't trip over. Okay. All right. So, however's easiest for you, yeah, when you're ready. Yep, I'm going to shoot you when this leg's forward because that's where the split is in the dress. So maybe right, left, that's when I'm going to shoot. All right, when you're ready, go right first. Yeah, that's good. We'll do a few just to make sure. These walking shots are notoriously difficult for a model to do. When you're in the spotlight and you're trying to walk, you just don't unconsciously do the things that you normally do. A lot of models forget which arm goes forward as they walk because you're self-conscious about it and you're not sure. So it often takes half a dozen goes to get into that rhythm so that we can get the shots that we're looking for. Okay, so yep, another couple of steps, maybe a little bit bigger steps if you can. Okay, right and left, and I'll shoot when you get on that left. Okay, when you're ready, go. Yeah, good. Now that you're experienced at that, when that left foot goes forward again, I want you to turn your shoulders to me. Okay. All right, when you're ready, go. Yes, that's great. Terrific. Okay, and one more. And it's good fun, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, when you're ready. Whoops, my mistake, my mistake. Well, we might do that, what you just did. Just pull up after that step and looking over this way. But I still need your face a little bit that way so that we get that light on your face. It's very complicated, isn't it? Okay, when you're ready. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe do a bit of a swish around when you do it, but don't swish over the leg, swish behind. You know what I mean? Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's good. Okay, ready, go. Yeah, don't walk quite so far because we've got my horrible brickwork in the shot. Okay, when you're ready. Yeah, that's cool. Try and keep that face. I know, it's a lot to remember. Okay, we'll try one more. Yep, when you're ready. Yeah, that's it. Cool stuff. Okay, that's fantastic. Now what we're going to do is shoot the back, and you're going to be looking over your shoulder at me. Yep. That's it. Yeah, great. That's a good point. When you've got shoestring straps or any thin straps on a dress or outfit, try to make sure that they're not twisted because it really stands out in your image. Yeah, yeah, lovely. Okay, focusing. Here we go. Yeah, lovely. Can we push that leg out a little bit further? Yep, yeah, that's it. Good. Just stay there, I'll check my lighting. Yeah, love that. Yep, just keep there. Lift that right hand up a bit higher on your bottom. Yep, that's it. Good. And this front elbow, just turn it out a little bit away from your body. Yep. Yep. Okay. And the left hand, bring it up on top of your head like this so that you can look through it. Yeah. Push that hair back a little bit. I want to be able to see your profile. Yeah. So we're just looking at going that way. Yeah. Great. Yep. Okay. Terrific. Great, Layla, thank you. What we're going to do now is put a backlight in behind Layla because she's got this furry jacket on and we want to show up those edges a little bit with some backlight. So we're going to get her to move a little bit further forward. I'm going to change the main light to something a little bit more easy to work with and we're going to put this in behind her. Okay, so a little bit further forward for me, please. That's it. I'm changing the modifier on the front of my strobe to a barn door arrangement so that I can use these barn doors to block off light on the background or anywhere that I don't want it to go. I don't use these very often, but I'll give it a go today just to see what we can get, and with that backlight I think it'll work really well. Now the main thing about using this backlight is that it's hidden from me. I need to hide it in behind Layla, because if it peeks out and I get direct flash into my lens, I'm going to get some flare. So keeping it in behind allows it to work as a backlight. We've got our barn doors up here, so this shot's going to look amazing. I always say that. Okay, so we've got a light over there, so we need to turn that face a little bit. And ready to go. Lovely. Yep, serious look. That looks great. Just look out over my head where my hand is. Yep, great. Okay, good. I normally shoot down low when I'm shooting a full length shot of my model so that the back of my camera is straight. You've heard me say that before. But that means that my model's looking down at me generally. So her eyes are a little bit squinted. So if I just ask her to look out above my head, I give her a point exactly to look at. It means that if she looks up, her eyes are much wider and they're more visible and they have more impact in the shot. Have a look at these two shots and you'll see the difference. Okay, so looking at the camera, at the lens, Layla, yep, here we go. Now look out over my head, yep. Okay, you can see the slight difference with those two shots. It looks that little bit better. Okay, once again, we need to shoot a bit slower because that backlight takes a little while. You can see that little bit of light on the back of Layla's hair and her collar, just lighting up the fringes there. It just adds that little bit of punch against the black background. So now we'll move around, maybe turning this way with your body. Yeah, that's it. Maybe 1 foot in front of the other. Yep, good. That's it. Great. I need to make sure that Layla's still in front of that light so that we can get that backlight there. Yeah, lovely. Can you pull a bit more hair forward at the back? Yeah, and come this way a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. Great, here we go. Yes, beautiful. One more. Here we go. Yeah. I need to give a little bit of time for that backlight to work, but that looks terrific. Can we do a couple of shots with the jacket open? Yeah. Will that look okay? Yeah, okay. When I'm doing this sort of stuff, I don't have any fashion sense whatsoever. I'm an old man. I don't know what goes with what and what outfits look good, but I generally ask my model, is it okay if we do this, or do you think this will look good? They usually say yes anyway, but it just makes it a bit easier to use her fashion brain rather than my fashion brain. Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, good. Great, turn that face, yep, perfect. So you knew what I was going to say before I even said it. One more, yeah. Great. Okay, we've changed backgrounds, using the same outfit, but I think this is going to look good with this mottled background. I'm also going to change the light. Rather than use my barn doors on my strobe, I'm going to use this snoot, which just fits over the front because they're all Bowens mounts. Everything's interchangeable. So this is going to give me a smaller pool of light. So I'm going to move it back a little bit more from Layla, just to increase the size of that pool of light. We also need to turn it up a little bit, just so that we've got more light to carry that extra distance. Now, is that pointing at you, Layla? Does that look okay? That way? That way? Is that all right? More? Less? Yeah. Okay. Just go, instead of this, just do this or one or the other. Okay, so we've got our snoot on our strobe to light the front of Layla. I've also got a couple of strip boxes that I've just put there in the back to throw a bit of rim light on Layla, on the edges of her body and her shoulders. The snoot and the strobe are going to light her face, and those 2 strip boxes are going to light the side of her and the jacket. Okay, that's great, Layla. Here we go, focus, yeah, terrific. I always check the first shot just to make sure that it looks good, then I don't really need to check it after that. Okay, lovely. Have you got pockets in the jacket? Nope, no pockets, just hang on to it, yeah, that'll be good, yeah. Just turn your face a little bit more in that way, yep, eyes to me. Terrific, yeah. Stay there, I'll do full length shot, yeah. Okay, lovely, yep. Can you put the collar up? Will that look cool, or does that look like a stupid idea? Just maybe hold it up, yeah? That's it. Good. Yep. Turn your shoulders away from me, yeah? Good. Look above my head here, yep. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we'll do a similar setup with the next outfit, but I'll change it to the softbox, okay? I just feel more comfortable with that softbox. So we've moved back to the softbox on the strobe. I just feel a little bit more secure with the softbox. It's a little bit of a crutch for me because I like that soft light, and it is much easier to use than that hard light. The hard light's great, and it gives you spectacular lighting and spectacular effects, but it takes a long time to tweak it to get it right, which we don't really have the time or the motivation in this shoot. I shouldn't say that. Layla's standing here looking at me. So we're going to go back to the softbox. We're going to keep these 3/4 backlights, these rim lights, and do this different outfit, do more shots like that, and then we're going to go back to the black background, do some more on there. Lovely, yep. Maybe hands behind your back. Do it. Yeah, that's it. Good. Keep your face over this way a little bit. Yeah, that's it. I've got to be careful that we don't get too much contamination from those backlights onto Layla. I don't want to blow out any features on her face. That looks great. Just going to move in for a 3/4 shot. Okay, here we go. And everyone knows when we do a 3/4 shot, we crop her off above the knees. Watch my other videos and that'll teach you how to do that. Okay, yeah, great. Terrific, big smiles, yeah. Maybe pull some hair forward on that side. Yeah, terrific. Yeah. If I crop you off at the thighs, it looks like that's a full length outfit. Looks like really cool, yeah? Okay, lovely. Have you got pockets in there? In the jacket? No? All right. Pockets just give you another possibility for posing and stuff. Yeah. All right, can we turn around away from me a little bit, over that way? Yeah, that's it. And turn your shoulders back this way. Yeah, good. That's it. Yeah, maybe things with your hands. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's the thinking pose. Yeah. The other hand up too, if you can. Yeah. Great. Just looking back, look over towards that background, yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. Terrific. That's it. Now I've got a little bit of overexposure on the back of Layla where that flash is hitting the white fabric, but that's okay. I'm shooting in RAW, so I can pull that back quite easily in post-production. I don't mind if my histogram is showing me I've lost a little bit of detail. I don't mind if my highlight alert is flashing in little bits because I know that I can pull that back because my highlight alert is based on a JPEG file. I'm shooting RAW, so I've got a little bit more room with my dynamic range. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Maybe stick your thumbs in that belt. Yeah, that's it. Looks a bit more westerny, not westy, but western. Yeah, that's good, great. Okay, terrific. We're moving back to this black background now, but I want to separate Layla from the black background, so I'm going to light the background. I'm going to put this little speed light in behind her to throw some light on the background. She's going to be wearing a red dress, so I'm just going to throw a little bit of blue onto that background to contrast with the red dress. It may look more spectacular, it may not. We'll try some with the blue and we'll try some without the blue. So we just put the gel on the front of our light. It's quite simple to attach, and that means that the light that comes from the strobe is going to be blue instead of white. Now I turn my zoom on my flash to the widest setting, which is 24mm, because I want a reasonably big pool of light on that background. If I had it zoomed in, it would only give me a small pool of light, but we can't put this too far forward because we want Layla to stand in front of it. So I'm going to put it here, and that should light that background quite sufficiently. I'm going to turn it down to 1/8 power, and that's going to give us that little pool of light on the background. So I'm going to stand you right in front of this so that we can hide our little speed light. So we've got this blue gel lighting our black background. Even though it's a black background, it will still take light, depending on the fabric or the material that you've got. Black velvet, you would struggle because it's going to absorb all of that light. But any other papers or non-woven fabric or anything like that is going to take that blue light. You just need to turn it up or down to control how bright it is. Okay, all right, here we go. Just shooting from your knees up, Layla. Lovely. Yeah, good. Just turn that face a little bit. Yep, good. Okay, full length shot now. Great. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to drop down here a little bit. Just look up above my head. That's it. Yep, a little bit too low. Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right, now do some, maybe can you get your hands up underneath your hair or something like that? Yeah, that's good. Yep. Yeah, great. Stay there. I'm just going to move in a bit closer. Looking up here. Yep. Turn that face a little bit. Yep. Looking up here still. Okay, stay there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that looks great. The red against the blue really pops. Even in black and white, this shot's going to look good. You can just see by the tones of it when you're shooting it that converting it to black and white will look amazing. All right, so we'll feet apart this time. Yep. Maybe just grab hold of the hand, pull it up a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Great. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Can you turn that shoe out a little bit? Yeah. Good. Couple of smiley ones. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Great. More. Okay. Yes. Perfect. So the last shoot we're doing tonight is to shoot Layla against that dark Venetian background. Problem that we have, if we light it with our softbox, it's going to light those Venetian blinds as well. I want to keep them reasonably dark. So with the grid on the front of our softbox, I can feather that light away from Layla so that it's actually pointing about 1 metre or 2 in front of her, but it's still, she's catching the edge of that light, the edge of that feathered light, and that's what I'm looking for. And you'll see in this shot, you'll see the difference. I'll shoot one with the softbox pointing straight at her, and then I'll feather the light away, and you'll see the difference that it makes. Here we go. Good. Okay, so that's what we get with that light pointing straight at Layla. Now we just feather it away from her to point towards the front. We need to be careful not to turn it too far because then we're going to lose the light on Layla. Okay, just get you to turn your face a little bit to the side, yeah? That's it. Great. Okay, there you can see the difference. The darker background because the light's not getting on that background. Okay, that's great. All right, yeah, hands up. We need to turn that face a little bit more towards the light, yeah? Great. So these shots are just waist up shots from your hands up, yeah. It's always a good idea to let your model know where your cropping is in the shot, just so that she knows that she doesn't need to worry too much about her feet or her shoes, but her hands are in the shot. So it makes it easier for her to interpret that pose. Okay, lovely. Yep. Turn that face further. Yep, eyes to me. Good, yeah. Great. Looking over my head here. Yep. Okay. Yeah, love that. Maybe can you push the jacket off your shoulders? Yeah, great. Yep, turn the face that way a little bit, yeah. Maybe turn your shoulders back away here, turn your face back that way, yeah. That's it, great. One last one, yeah. Cool. Okay, jacket back up again. Now you've got pockets in the jacket, I'm sure, yeah. Okay, so we'll use them, yeah. Great. Now you notice Layla put her thumbs in the pocket rather than her whole hand, because that's so much better. We can see her hands, we can see where they are. They just don't disappear into nothing. Great, here we go. Yeah. Good, yeah. All your hair forward on this side if you can. Yep, that's it. Just keep that face a little bit that way. Yeah, great. Here we go. Yes, and all right, wonderful. Stick your tongue out for the last shot. There we go, okay. Thanks, Layla, that was fantastic. That was a great shoot. All right, I'm sure you'll agree, she's a fantastic model and we've got some great shots. All right, that turned out fantastic. Great shots. You've seen them as we've gone through the video, all the examples that I've taken. We didn't get through as many as I expected, but that's always the case. My plan always exceeds the time that I've got to do the shoot. But we've got a great variety of shots for Layla's portfolio. I'm sure she's going to be happy with them. And I'll see you in the next video.